On this episode of KD Sports Talk, Ben Simmons sucks fucking dick. How about that one?
Oh shit, yeah. I don't know. Like, obviously, I have no idea what he's done or
It's
is
what he
not
hasn't
doing,
done. It's what he hasn't done.
But people are shitting on him pretty hard on social media. So,
Bro, I mean, it was the series, not even a game. It was the full series was just atrocious in the fourth quarter for him.
I heard that he missed
no shots in the fourth quarter.
He missed no shots in the fourth
100%.
quarter. He took
6 for
3 shots.
Was it 3? I thought it was 6. But
He took
okay,
3
wait.
shots
Still.
in 7 games in the fourth quarter.
I heard that he missed more shots than an entire team in a series.
Another stat from
I think it was free throws.
His free throws. So
he missed more free throws than an entire team.
Before this series, the worst playoff free throw percentage was Shaq at like 37%, something like that.
Right.
Now it has been Simmons for 34%, roughly. I'm pretty sure there's a point something in there, but no one cares.
Could you imagine? He's the kid that when you're like shooting for like running, he's the kid that like once he gets up to the free throw line, you're like, son of a bitch.
No. Well, we can't.
I was that kid.
We can't call him Sueys anymore. What do they call him now?
You can't call them suicides anymore?
No, Derek, you can't say that word. We're on YouTube.
Oh my god, guys.
Seriously?
Call the hotline if you have thoughts about running from line and back and line and back. Call the hotline.
We just call them Patriots.
What about killers?
Which are just
yeah,
What
they're
about
just Sueys.
Yeah.
Sueys.
Yeah, no, you're not allowed to talk about it or say anything or like say the word anymore. Like it gets you. Well, I mean, we don't have to worry about getting demonetized, but it gets you kicked off for sure.
Oh, okay. So we were running serial killers the other day.
There you go. There you go.
I don't know what to freaking call them.
Yeah. So, I mean, God, dude, it was. I heard something. I mean, you can do your Cowherd impression if you want to, but it's a good idea. It's just his contract is a max contract right now because the Sixers
went drafted like recently.
He's 20. He's 25, so he got drafted
4 or 5 years ago.
He got drafted,
but he was a high draft pick.
Oh, yeah, he was huge coming out, but Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and
Tobias Harris.
Yes, they all have max contracts for the 76ers. So
what does max contract mean?
Like that's the highest you can get paid in the NBA.
Yeah. There's max contracts in the NBA, and then there's
God, they need a cap.
There's crazy things that they can.
They do have a cap.
Yeah, they have a cap, but there's crazy things that they can do to like get around the max contract, like with signing bonuses and stuff like that. But like the actual contract itself is all maxed out.
And every max contract's different. Like, if you make all NBA and like whatnot, like the year before you're a free agent, like then it adds like more money. So like I think like a normal max contract it's like 22 million.
I don't know
something like that. Yeah, but like if you got like if you hit like all the perks or whatever, you can get up to like 33 million or something crazy like that.
Yeah. So moving him will be difficult, but Cowherd's take was you need to move him to a team who is already established with shooters. Because you can't. He's a great defender, and he still was a great defender in this series. You just can't trust him to shoot the ball at all.
No,
and he doesn't like. Do you think that there's something mentally going on with him where he doesn't trust himself? Like, is that why he's not taking shots in the fourth quarter?
I don't think he's put the work in. I think from all this, I mean, from just what I hear, former pros and analysts say, it sounds just like he hasn't put the work in to get a jump shot, and it's all on him. And it's not that he just knows he's not going to make it, so he's just not going to shoot it.
Is he left-handed?
Yes.
He is actually ambidextrous. So he Apparently he's Wright's right hand, I guess, and he can use both, but he shoots with his shoots left, and they're talking how he needs to shoot with his right. He's a big project when it comes to shooting the basketball.
Yeah, that's. I think it's a smart idea not to trade for him. One, because of his contract. There's not too many teams that are built to accommodate his play style that has the money to take his contract.
And he declined he's not playing in Tokyo for Australia or anybody.
Is he Australian?
So, yeah. So he says he's not playing in Tokyo or any that type of stuff for development reasons. So he's kind of put himself, hung himself out to dry here.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't show any sort of progress in his jump shot next season, then everybody's going to know he's not willing to put the work in, and there goes your money.
Yeah, I mean, because he's got 2 more years, I think, left on his contract.
Yeah, I think so, something like that.
And so, I mean, once this contract's over, unless he can make a drastic turn, he's not getting another max contract.
Yeah.
But staying in that series, though, I mean, the Hawks played really well, and now that the Hawks are in, it's literally the Hawks, the Bucks, the Suns, and the Clippers, and only one team in the Final Four has ever won a championship, and that was back in like '65,
that's always fun.
Yeah, before the merger. 71 was the Bucks last championship. It was like 2 years before the merger.
That's fun as shit. It's like it's like having like the fucking Jags and the Lions in the Final Four. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. They're all.
I mean, seriously, like that would be fucking sweet.
Yeah, like
this is literally like Lions, Browns, Packers, but like Packers have won, but like I'm just Jags. But like long time ago, teams that were good, it's like teams that were used to be good and teams that have never been good.
Yeah.
Oh, you brought up the Packers. Now you got me going. Go.
Do we want some breaking news?
Yeah, I got fucking breaking.
Yeah, Detroit Pistons won the NBA lottery. So the Detroit Pistons have the number 1 overall pick for the NBA draft.
Great. We get the fuck that up. Cool.
Who are they taking?
I have no idea.
That one kid out of fucking Serbia,
No, right. That 1 Euro kid no one's heard of, but is going to win the fucking MVP in 3 years.
Yep. Pistons, Rockets, Cavs, Raptors, Magic, Thunder, Warriors,
third.
Magic, Kings, Pelicans, Hornets, Spurs, Pacers, Warriors. There you go. Quick 14. All right. Now continuing. Ben Simmons. Or if you want to segue out of it, but
just the whole playoffs in general.
Yeah.
So I think that this playoff, I think the NBA's viewership as a whole has been on a decline for a while. And I don't want to say the Clippers are a small market team because they are playing in LA, and Atlanta is playing plays in Atlanta, obviously. But right. I mean, they're smaller teams. It's not the big hitters. It's not, like any of the New York teams. It's not.
Yeah, it's not Lakers, Celtics.
Knicks, Celtics. Right. It's none of those main staples. So like, it's cool. Like how do I want to say this? The oddity of it is cool. You never see something like this in the NBA.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying. Like, if it was like the same fucking team every year,
which it has been,
right? That wouldn't make me watch. But
I mean, it's not even the same fucking team. It's just the same fucking player.
Yeah, I'm actually more inclined to watch it now to see a little bit of history being made. With who wins than if like fucking LeBron's in again, Steph Curry's in. I'm fucking done with that shit. I'm done watching those guys.
Well, I will always watch LeBron. Okay.
But I say that, and here I am watching every fucking Super Bowl with Tom Brady in it.
Well, I mean,
so
it's
I mean, I get it, but
so a little bit of whatever, like little bit of stuff on the teams here. So the Clippers clinched their first Western Conference Finals ever, which is awesome. And they came back down 25 to win in game, what was it, 6? I don't think they went to 7.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah. So, which was the largest comeback to clinch a series in over 25 years. The Jazz, on the other side of that, the Jazz were 232-1, win leading by 25 points in that same 25-year span, which is insane to blow such a fucked lead. I mean, that thing was huge. So moving on from that, Milwaukee won in overtime. But the real question is this game a bust for the, or not the game, sorry, but is the season a bust for the Knicks?
The Nets.
What'd I say?
The Knicks.
Let me retry that again. Milwaukee wins game 7 in OT to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals after beating the Nets. Was this season a bust for the Nets?
I don't know.
Yes and no. And why it's kind of 50-50 on it. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, how many games did KD, Harden, and Irving play together? Like 10, 11 before the playoffs even started?
Yeah, it was
not a lot. KD was hurt, Irving was hurt. I mean, they were all hurt, and then
they've all been hurt.
Then Harden actually was playing with a grade 2 strained hamstring.
Which we can get into that in a second.
Right.
We're gonna talk about the other thing too. But
and then Irving's, goes out with a pretty severe ankle injury.
Well, it's because he didn't stage the arena hard enough.
Yeah. I like it. It's a bust if you think of it in the way that like everybody's like, oh, they're winning it all.
Right.
But it's not, because like they didn't really have the whole team.
They were strung up by fucking injuries the whole year. Yeah.
I mean,
so we talked about this. We talked about this in game 5, right? Or no, it was game 4. We talked about this after game 4. No, it was definitely after game 5.
The last one we did was during game 5.
Yeah, when Durant won or had the game winner and scored like 48 points.
That was game 7.
That couldn't have been game 7.
Yeah, he scored 48 in game 7. Game 5 was the game was Harden's first game back.
Right, but how many? He scored over 40 points, right?
He might have, but who knows?
Semantics.
I don't remember all that stuff. But, right.
So, anyways, we're about the. I mean, he has that big game in game 5. We talk about it, saying that it's a legacy game for him because it was the first time that he's had.
Oh yeah. He had that 49-point triple double. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
1 point, you ass.
Sorry.
Anyways, so we talked about it. And then we go into game 6, and he plays all in the last 3 games, 5, 6, and 7. He only sat for 8 minutes in 3 games. Reggie Miller talked before game 6 about sitting Durant and Harden to save them for game 7, because it was almost. I don't want to say it was almost a guarantee that the Bucks were going to win at home, but it was almost a guarantee that the Bucks were going to win at home. I mean, obviously,
yeah.
But is rolling over and just admitting defeat the smart way to play that?
No,
you don't think so?
No, I think Reggie's half right on this. When he said he should have rested them more, I think they should have rested Harden more. I mean, because if you go back to game 5, his first game back, he played 46 minutes.
Yes,
and he only sat out 2 minutes with a grade 2 hamstring strain, which is pretty bad, especially if you're moving around all the time. But he was like 1 for 10, 0 for 8 from the 3-point line. Like
he should have been taking 3-pointers at all. He had no.
He had 8 assists and some rebounds and stuff, but it's just like, I mean, rest. You should be resting him more. Yeah. I mean, Durant play every single second. I'm fine with that. I mean, Irving's out. you got to have your best player's got to be on the floor. And I mean, I don't think Durant didn't hurt him at all. I mean, look, he went 49, 17, and 10 in game 6, and then he dropped 48 in game 7. So
Right.
it's not like it affected him.
So, but yeah, you're right. It didn't affect his scoring ability throughout the regular game. It was when he got into OT, I think he lost his legs, and I think that's why he airballed that last shot at the end of OT.
I mean, it wasn't an easy shot. I mean,
he made that exact same shot at the end of the fourth quarter to send it into overtime.
Yeah, but it was more contested in the overtime. There's more factors playing into it.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's one freaking shot. You can't tell me that if he would have sat 2, 3, 4 more minutes that he would have had the legs. Guess what?
Well, I don't think if he sat 2, 3, 4 minutes, they were going to win that game. I don't think they'd be
right, and that's the point. So, would you rather have a dog-tired Durant take an air ball or take the final shot, or would you rather have him take a shot with that much time left to lose by 10?
Right.
Like you're not in that situation. You can't sit Durant.
I'm on the side like you said, he's like half right, because I think that you bringing back Harden is not worth it. Not a game.
Totally worth it.
Not in game 5. No.
Totally worth it. You have
in
to.
Game 5, Harden.
Yeah, you have to. You got to bring him back. You got to let the Bucks know, like, hey, we're serious. Like, we want to work. We're here to win. Guys are going to play through injuries. Like,
I mean, if they would have let him sit game 5, he obviously didn't do much. Those assists could have been from someone else. They're just passing the ball to Durant. He wasn't missing anyways.
I mean, they only won 114 to 108. I mean,
that's okay. It's 114 to 108, and Durant and Harden got what? 2 points? 2 points, 8 assists?
5 points. 5 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. I mean, that's 16 points if those are all twos. That's 16 points. So plus 5, that's 21 points counted for, and I'm sure some of those were threes, so that's probably even more. Yeah. So I mean, that's.
But someone else is getting those assists.
Who?
Like I said, anybody else, literally anybody else on the team, as long as it's not.
I don't think you understand guard wise, playmaking wise, what they have outside of Irving and Harden. They don't have anything. They have Irving, Harden, playmakers, and then they got shooters and Durant. That's all it is.
I understand what they have.
They got rid of their other playmaker and traded it, and when they did the trade for Harden, so
right. I like I said, I just think they should have sat. I think that they would have sat Harden game 5, he would have been a little bit healthier for game 6 and 7. Maybe been able to be a little bit more productive.
Maybe.
I talk about production. I mean, there's no one more productive right now than Shohei Ohtani. And this boy is doing it on both sides of the fucking field. And he is going to enter into this year's home run derby.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. This is like LeBron entering a dunk contest.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the best player in the league that should not be doing anything besides playing in the All-Star game, which baseball, your stars come out more for the home run derby. Yeah. But did you see his week last week that he had? Derek, you'll like these stats. Tuesday or Monday, home run. Tuesday, home run. Wednesday, pitched 6 innings, threw 8 strikeouts, 1 earned run, got a win. Thursday, hit 2 home runs. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, home runs. He homered every single day last week, and then the one game he did not hit in, he won through throwing almost 7 innings of a one run game.
Jesus, man, that kid is insane. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm excited though that he's in the derby. I think that'll be
too. I think it's huge. Is Tatis Jr. in the derby too? I can't remember if
I have no idea. I don't know if they've said anybody.
Because I know Shohei announced it himself. Like this didn't come through
right
MLB or anything like that. He just he announced it himself. But yeah, I mean, like, when I saw that, I was pumped. Because I mean, how many times do you see a freaking pitcher in the home run derby?
Yeah, I mean, he's thrown the fastest pitch in the league this year. He's hit the farthest home run, and he's also hit the hardest home run.
Oh yeah.
Now, though, that he had it at one point. I think some of that's changed, but at one point he had hit the hardest home run on exit velocity, and he had also thrown the fastest pitch of the season, which is just insane. It's literally we're getting to watch Babe Ruth play.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. How long do you think he could keep this up?
I don't know. If his injuries are behind him, I mean, hell, it's not like he's pitching every 5 days. I mean, he's pitching probably every 7 to 10. And
which I think is smart.
He wants to do it. I mean, so why not? I mean, there's been games where he started a game and he finished out in the outfield.
Out in right field, yeah.
So, I mean,
which is high school. That's like high school shit.
Yeah, right. They're giving him. I mean, he's getting days off. I'm pretty sure they're giving him days off. And after he starts, some days there's a lot of times after he starts, he doesn't play the next day. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, as long as they can maintain him and keep him healthy, I think he could do it for probably with pitching. I would say probably he's young still, 4 or 5 years maybe.
As long as they keep him on that same schedule where he's pitching like 7 to 10 days, not every 3 to 4.
Yeah, and then I mean, if you see production dip, then obviously I think they'll take him as a hitter over his pitching.
Over the pitching.
I mean, but who knows? The Angels have no pitching whatsoever. So,
well, I mean, like I'm pretty sure they can make it through the season with him doing this, and so you go out in the off season, you get yourself a pitcher or two, and you bolster up that bullpen, and maybe your starting lineup, and you can be fine. Now moving from the best player in the league to one of the best pitchers in the league.
The best pitcher in the league.
I'm sorry, the best pitcher in the league. Jacob deGrom, his shoulder was hurting before. Is this still his last start?
No. Okay, so so before his 2 starts ago, he was claiming that his shoulder was bothering him. I think the day before. And then he went out. The coach talked to him, asked if he was okay. He says, yeah, I'm fine, even though his shoulder was still hurting him. He went out through 3 scoreless innings, then started hurting a little bit more. So then he said something, so they pulled him. And then he came out his last start, and I think he threw a shutout, 6, 7, 8 innings, however it was. It looked fine, throwing 100 miles an hour, doing his thing. So it doesn't look like it was anything long term. So Derek, if this brings, I mean, he's got a .54 ERA on the season, which is less than 1 run per earned run average is what I mean. Don't know if you know what ERA is, but
nope.
So pretty much how many, I mean, it goes off like base innings. Pretty much how many runs people score on him a game during his appearance. So every time he's out there, people are scoring less than a run a game on him, and so the question that I wanted to ask you guys, do organizations need to get stricter on star players wanting to play through injuries? Like, so, I mean, you go through like James Harden playing with a grade 2 hamstring strain, who is, if you're going to win a championship, you're going to need him. Jacob deGrom, one of the best pitchers in the game, or the best pitcher in the game right now, MVP, Cy Young, everything. And his pitching shoulder is hurting him. The moneymaker is hurting you. And the coach left it up to him to decide if he was going to play or not. So that's what I want to ask is, do these franchises, their franchise players, do they need to get stricter on, like, if they say, hey, my shoulder's kind of bothering me the day before a start. Okay, well, let's not start tomorrow and let's wait till your next one. Or do you say, well, up to you, it's your shoulder. Do what you want. Like,
so I'm going to just keep this to like strictly MLB.
Wait, I mean, you can. I mean,
I'm saying it's different. I think with NFL than it would be for MLB.
Yeah, because fucking Matt Stafford's playing with a broken back.
Well, yeah, and there's
but 16 games, 17 this year,
162,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, if you're a pitcher, you're as good as you're saying he is best pitcher in the game currently.
Yeah.
Yes, you save him because you need him to make a playoff run, if that so happens. Right. But I mean, in the MLB, absolutely, they need to hold him off. The training staff also needs to be the ones that say, because being a high school coach that I am, we have to make the decision. If he plays, is it going to get worse?
Right.
To the point where he's missing additional time later?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this just something that's kind of nagging and he could kind of play through it? But in the pros, MLB, yes. In the NFL, probably try to go through it.
Depending on what the injury is.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, okay. Right. So like my question is now, okay, so let's just say Cleveland, right? A lot of big expectations. So let's say, to compare to baseball where we're right now, so this would be like the 5th game of the season.
Okay.
And let's say Baker comes up and says his shoulder's hurting day before the game, and before the game starts, shoulder's bothering him, but he wants to tough it out and play. If you're Cleveland, what, like, are you saying no?
You know how I'd handle it.
You're not going to play this week, and we'll get you back next week, or do you go with the flow and hope that it doesn't create any long-term effects, doesn't linger the whole season, or who they play in? I mean, like, does who they're playing factor into it? That type of stuff.
So if it's game 5, we are, let's say we're 3-1 going into game 5, right? We're playing
whoever,
like anybody in the AFC North. I'm pretty sure. I think it's who's going to be. But anyways, we're playing an interdivisional game. Obviously we're evaluating him every day. So up to Saturday, if he says it's still hurting, I'm going to make him a game time decision. I'm going to let him go out and warm up, see how he's feeling. And then I'm going to if he says he's fine, I'm going to let him make that decision. But the second that he gets, like, he go out for the first series, second series, we're going to reevaluate your shoulder. If it's still hurting, we're pulling him.
Okay, so now my question is here. Let's just say this injury, if he would have took that week off, let's just say you leave it up to the player. Mm-hmm. He goes out very first play of the game, and let's just say he throws a handoff throw, whatever, gets touched one time, and then he's done for the season with broken collarbone or something crazy. Now that's on you. That's not on him, because in my opinion, I don't think, like, as coaches and as a franchise, you can let that type of caliber of player make their own decisions when it comes to playing through injuries.
But a freak accident like that could happen to anybody on any play at any time.
I understand that. But I'm saying, like, but if you go quarterback wise, like, it's his throwing arm. Let's just say the first pass of the game he throws, let's just say goes, something happens, like, you know what I mean? Whatever was lingering around, whatever it causes, shoulder strain, whatever, and he's done for 3-4 weeks.
I think that if it was bad enough to be thrown out, our training staff would be able to recognize that. Then you don't make that. You don't let them make that decision. You say, listen, you're like, we had X-rays, we had an MRI done. It's showing a muscle strain, or it's showing a rotator cuff injury, or it's showing structural damage with the bone, or whatever it is. Then you're like, listen, you're fucked, bro. I'm not putting you out there. I don't care if you feel like you can still throw the ball. You're resting. You're rehabbing. You're resting. We got this. Don't worry.
Right. But devil's advocate here, that bruise or just that shoulder tightness, that can lead to the strains and that stuff you're talking about that you would MRI or whatever. So let's just, like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, if it's tight, why risk it for one game? Now I get it. Like you said, if it's week 17 and we need this to get into playoffs, absolutely. Like, you do what you got to do, because it's win now mentality. But like Derek said, baseball wise, like, if I'm the Mets and DeGrom says my shoulder hurts the day before a game, sorry, buddy, you're not playing. You're a $300 million player. You're okay. You're gonna miss the start, and then we're gonna evaluate you.
Honestly, if I was the Mets, I was gonna say this while Derek was talking, but if I was the Mets, we're not even to the All-Star break right now, bro. You're taking weeks off. Weeks off. I don't like you pitch 3 to 4 days, like once every 3 to 4 days. That is what, maybe 10 starts, maybe 12 starts.
What if he set up for what?
A month.
A month?
Oh, a month. Yeah.
4 or 5 starts.
Yeah.
7 probably at the most.
I'm done. Like, I'm not. you're sitting for the month. I those 7 games when in the grand
I don't know if you
scheme
have to sit him for a month, but you can lower his time between starts.
well,
Instead, you can pitch him every 6 days as opposed to 5, or 7 days as opposed to 5.
what I mean is like we pull him out, we say a month, and then we reevaluate every week or so, and then go from there. Like obviously, there's a fluid situation because you could always go into something else, but or like he could always get healthier, and everything will be fine after that. But and that in that moment, you just you don't, especially with your ace pitcher, like you said, $300 million player, you don't risk it for the biscuit. Not in this. What is it?
Not
The third month.
Not 60 games into the season.
Yeah.
There's 100 more to go.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. I definitely wouldn't let him go like that. Well, there's a couple things. Well, shit. I was gonna say there's a couple things that we didn't talk about in the NBA. We could go back and have like a no segue transition here. Chris Paul had entered the COVID-19 protocol. I believe they played their first game of the Western Conference Finals yesterday.
Sunday.
And
they're playing game 2 right now.
And is he playing?
No.
There you go. So now he has officially missed game 1 and 2. Did the Suns win the first game? Because I think they did. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you have to imagine that for the Clippers, this is a must-win. Because
no,
you don't think so. You don't think that you have to prove that you can win without Chris Paul.
Clippers don't have Kawhi Leonard.
Or you, yeah. What was I saying? You can.
Clippers are missing, or the Suns. The Suns are missing 37-year-old Chris Paul, and the Clippers are missing 29, 30-year-old Kawhi Leonard. I think
Kawhi Leonard's out with a knee injury too. So.
Right. So I think the Clippers are more of at a disadvantage than the Suns, and the Suns prove that they can win without him against the Clippers team that doesn't have Kawhi. But it's just my heart breaks for Chris Paul more than anybody. Guy's never played in a NBA finals, probably top 5 greatest point guards to ever play the game. Yeah. And dude just gets hurt
constantly
and it's in the playoffs. It's never in the it's always in the playoffs, and it's the dumbest freaking stuff. Like it's shoulder injury, or like he had against the Lakers, but he toughed it out, like, because you can tell like that dude's ready. He wants the finals. Yeah. And then you gotta I don't know. They haven't really said anything about what it, like, if he has COVID or if it's
he does. He had a positive.
He had a positive test.
Mm-hmm. He did. I read it. I read a report about it. But so this kind of actually I guess I shouldn't have said no transition, because this is a transition. Is this a load management issue with Chris Paul? With not this year because it's COVID-19, you can't really do anything about COVID. But with his always being injured in the playoffs, do you think it's a load management thing, or is it just freak accidents that just plague him every year?
It's just weird, like, injuries, like I said, like coming off a screen and just gets caught, catches something at the wrong angle, and he's his shoulder hurts, or is like fallen weird ankle, whatever. Like last year with Houston, I forget what his injury was, but it wasn't like it was. I don't think it was a
load management.
Yeah, it's just sports injuries that happen when they're going to happen.
I know LeBron was making a big deal about it, especially after Kawhi went down. It was
this year. I think it's been huge for the NBA. Lot. Yeah, it's been. I mean, they just ended the season and they got a month or 2 off.
I think it was a month and a half, honestly.
Yeah, and they jumped right back into a 60-game schedule. It was a reduced schedule, but they were playing right away.
I mean, they were playing right after the season.
Most all-stars ever injured in the playoffs in NBA history.
Yeah.
I mean, NBA is definitely probably regretting that decision.
But I think
now that you look at it with who's left in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So,
because I mean, you have like these young stars like Trey Young and
Devin Booker.
Devin Booker.
Yep.
What was that other? What's the guy from? Oh my God!
Here we go, Kenny with names again.
God damn it, dude! I know this is like the worst ever. Because Trey Young is the Hawks, Devin Booker is the Suns.
Mm-hmm. Are you thinking about Doncic?
No, don't try and say Giannis's last name because I can't.
Antetokounmpo.
Say it, man.
Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo.
Hey, that's not bad for me. Anyways, so you have these young stars, but there's not a lot of people that are household names yet. I mean,
Devin Booker's a household name. Kawhi Leonard's a household name.
Yeah, but Kawhi Leonard's out now.
Well, yeah, Paul George is a household name.
But I mean, playoff he has to show that he can beat the Suns.
I don't think he does. I think he's outside of, they don't really have a whole lot on the Clippers outside of those two right now, besides Morris.
Mm-hmm.
And Morris is kind of banged up too. But there's not the normal, 10, 15 household names that you're used to. But
right.
There's still some guys that you want that Chris Paul, that whenever he comes back. Antetokounmpo, he's a household name.
Yeah, he's definitely a household
name.
Drew
Holiday's a household name over on the Bucks. But yeah, that's what you're going to get when the big market teams are out of it.
Yeah. I have a hard time. I know the game is different, but remember, like back in the 90s, we've talked about this before. Back in the 80s and 90s, the game was so rough. And you never really, there were guys that were injured, but I don't think that there was ever like big injuries, and a lot of them in the playoffs. Like you had a lot of guys, I don't know if they were fighting through injuries or if they just were tougher back then. Like
I listened to Bob Wasusian. I can't even say his name.
There you go.
He talked to Dominique Wilkins about this, and he was asking him about, like, is it players being tougher, or is it because guys there wasn't days off? You look back, they showed like Dominique Wilkins, he played 75 plus games every single season of his whole entire career, not including the playoffs. And he was just said it was different back then, to where you didn't have the medical technology, like advances like that we have now, of determining like he said, hamstring strains and this type of stuff. That stuff didn't exist when I played. You sat out with knee injuries and broken bones. That's when you didn't play, because it was just, you were just sore, and that's all that was. Those tightness and that guys sit 1-2 games out for. It's now like strains and hyperextensions, whatever, soreness or whatever. That back then you were sore, you played through it, and that's what was expected back in that era. I don't know if it was. You had to be. It wasn't that it was you had to be tough,
right.
back then, because you were getting your ass kicked every night.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing that it's a load management issue now, especially with how, like you said, medical advancement is better now, and we understand more injuries now, so it's fine. But people not being able to, not being able to handle an 82 games, not even 82 games, a 60 game season.
I don't think it's that these guys that are playing now aren't tough, but per se, I think, like I just said, that medical advancement. So like Harden's hamstring strain, or you got a knees, soreness or whatever. Guys played through it back then. Guess what? A lot of those guys right now are walking around with back problems and knee problems. Right. And it's because that they didn't have medical staff that said, if you keep playing on this the way you are, you're not going to have knees by the time you're 50.
I think the mentality was a lot different back then too. It was kind of like,
you had like that.
You're a sissy if you don't do it. And
right.
now we're just like, no, sit out because you're getting paid. Wait,
Right.
Yeah.
The mentality, I think, is different as well.
I feel like it's very evident when you watch like Charles Barkley walk around.
Oh yeah, him and Shaq. Watch Shaq walk.
I
mean, Shaq's 7'2", 320 pounds. I mean, Shaq's
he's got giant problems.
dude.
Yeah,
right. But,
the same things Andre Giant had.
Right. So I mean, but you look at like you said, Charles Barkley. He's only like 6'5". I mean, he's a big guy, but he's not. I mean, but like I mean, Michael Jordan. I'm sure he don't get around like he used to. Right. I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't say that, but I'm sure he wakes up in the morning and has to when getting out of bed, from that back stiffness.
Make those dad noises.
Yeah. Make dad noises to get to his 2 ibuprofen before he can even get out of bed.
Yeah, and I mean, who is it? Steve Nash talked about this too. He was it was early 2000s when Steve Nash played into the late the 10s.
Yeah.
He has back problems now because he played through those small minor things that guys take. Instead of playing on a back-to-back, you sit out because it's good for your body. And which I think all of this comes down to is that the NBA just needs to reduce the amount of games they play.
You want to reduce the games?
Yeah, I would say probably 60 is a good number. 50,
I think
60 games.
I think we talked about this before. I think
we might have, but I think 50, 60 games it would be.
I mean, I'm all for shortening those fucking seasons.
Yeah, but I mean, like, listen,
baseball I'm fine with. I think baseball's fine where it's at. But yeah, like we talked about that. The games aren't going to get reduced because there's so much money involved with TV deals.
Yeah, true.
So let's take this a different way then. What if they increase the roster?
Right.
What instead of taking away 12, 15 games, what if they increase the roster by 2 or 3 players and added a little bit more depth to the team? I think it would be a good alternative.
I don't think it matters because I think the NBA has there's 15 roster spots, and I mean you can go to any box score during the regular season and you'll see 3 or 4 guys that are DNPs. Didn't play, coach's decision or whatever. I don't think adding players is going to do that. I think the NBA is doing a lot better job with the G League. They have 10-day contracts now, which I think are huge for that aspect. So if a guy sits out and is going to miss a couple of games, you can bring a G League guy up for a 10-day contract, and or if you haven't, then they can try him out and stuff. I think 15 is a good number. I think that's where it's at right now. Is 15. I mean, adding more players isn't going to make a difference because you're going to play your best guys because you want to win every game.
Yep.
So your best guys are still going to play, 30 to 40 minutes a night.
Well, that's what I mean. Like you could play your best guys, but maybe you could load management.
I think the only way you could really get a load management style is instead of adding players, you could make the games longer, which sounds ridiculous at 12-minute quarters. But I mean, if you think about it, I mean, that's 48 minutes, if they played 60, if they played a 60-minute basketball game, 2 30-minute halves or 15-minute quarters for basketball, which would be crazy because football plays 15 minutes. And I mean, basketball probably take about the same time, if not faster.
About 2.5 hours.
Because I mean, there's a lot more continuous clock running in a basketball game probably than a football game.
Well, then
halftime's not as long. But
and
I mean,
and timeouts aren't as bad either.
Right, they're 30-second timeouts as opposed to a little bit longer. TV commercials not as much.
Right.
But you could maybe up the minutes, and that would give guys a few more minutes a game. But I mean, is that worth it? I mean, I think the NBA is pretty set on where they're at right now with all that stuff.
Right.
I just saw a notification. You asked about who does the Pistons take?
Yeah.
Projected number 1 overall
Oklahoma
pick,
State kid.
Cade Cunningham.
Oklahoma State, yeah.
Plans to only visit Detroit prior to draft day.
Derek likes him already.
Well, I mean, if he knows he's going to be number 1, there's no point in going anywhere else.
Sure.
I mean, outside of well,
the
no,
Mobley kid from USC could maybe, but Detroit's got a lot of big guys as it is already. So I think Cunningham's probably a lock at 1. But
anyway,
we'll see.
let's continue moving.
Yeah. So we'll just finish up the NBA a little bit. Who wins the West? Clippers or Suns?
Suns.
I agree. I think it depends on how long.
I think if if they were fully healthy, I still think I'd take Suns.
Who is what's the score right now? It is
on commercial.
June 22nd. Oh, it's commercial. Shit.
Yeah.
ESPN. It is June 22nd, Tuesday, June 22nd, as we're recording this. So it is
Clippers are up. Suns are winning by 1. It's only the first quarter though.
Yeah, it's 12-13. Okay. Yeah, I think I like the Suns in this as well.
Suns in 4.
Suns in 4, baby. You gotta keep that going. I didn't know this guy that much. Because I could have sworn that Avery Johnson was the Mavs coach like 10 years ago, but sure.
And Avery Johnson was just coaching at Alabama University.
I know he was, but I'm saying before he was at Alabama, he was with the fucking Mavs. So how do you say his last name? Is it Carlsley? Rick Carls?
God.
What?
Welcome to the sports podcast, where people, ladies and gentlemen, where we don't know the names of anybody. It's Rick Carlisle.
Yeah,
Carlisle.
Easily Carlisle.
How is it easy?
It's Carlisle.
Whatever.
Carl.
Anyways,
Isle.
Spell Isle.
I don't. ISLE.
No, but yes.
So, anyways, he steps down after being the Mavs coach for 13 seasons. He has 1,525 career games. His record is 836 and 689, which is just a little over 0.548.
About 55%.
Yeah, about 55%. He's got 1 ring as a coach and 1 ring as a player. Does he make it to the Hall of Fame?
So, I want to talk. It just blows my mind. Okay, so Rick Carlisle, I think he was, he got screwed over. He used to be coach the Pistons for a little bit before he was actually kicked out. He was the coach of the year in 2002, and if anybody remembers, the Detroit Pistons won the NBA Finals in 2004, and 2000 and whatever it was. He was actually the ones that was coaching Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, and the boys. He was coaching some of them before Mr. Larry Brown, and he was actually the coach of the year in 2002. But he apparently he didn't get along with management or whatever, and they just said, "See you later." Larry Brown came in, they won titles. All right, good for Detroit. I just see everybody's just like, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. He's got a ring as a player and as a coach. Okay, first of all, he won a ring with the 1986 Boston Celtics. The dude scored like 400 points in his 6-year NBA career. He averaged like 2 points a game. Okay, the dude didn't play. So first of all, that ring as a player, whatever. Nobody cares about that. He won a decent amount of games, but he's got 1 ring. Now his ring, awesome. Dirk and the boys beating LeBron in the Heat. I mean, one of the greatest upsets that people will always talk about.
How is that not Avery Johnson?
Nope, that was Rick Carlisle. What'd you say? Carlisle, or however you said his name.
I don't even know what I said anymore. Don't ask me.
People, every NBA analyst is just like Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, and it's just like, if he didn't win, he won the NBA Finals, right? Mm-hmm. The 1 year against the Heat. Yeah, I mean, every other year, I mean, it was early exits. I mean, I don't know. I just like, he won one. Yeah, he won a title, but like, is 1 ring, is that all we need now to get into the Hall of Fame? I mean, I don't get it. I think he was a good coach. Was he a Hall of Fame coach?
Isn't the NBA Hall of Fame like a lot stricter and like harder to get into. Like it feels like the NFL Hall of Fame is like they're just walking people into that bitch.
Well, the NBA, the NFL, baseball is the hardest one to get into.
Yeah, well, I know baseball this year didn't induct anybody.
No, but I think
Insanity.
the NFL does like five or six guys a year, or
Roughly.
something like that. Now the Basketball Hall of Fame is a little tougher to get into because it's not just NBA. It's the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, so it's not just NBA. It also goes with like Pat Summitt's is in the Hall of Fame. Women's coach. So it's a lot more than just NBA accolades.
That's not part of the NCAA is not part of that, is it?
No.
They just inducted her as like a personality of the game.
Right. Pat Summitt, no, they inducted her as a coach. It's the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. It's not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Like it's got a bunch. It's all over the place. But
that's crazy.
It's tough to get into. But I just like he's well liked by people in the NBA circle, so I think that might get it to him. But I just like from what I'm giving you and what I've been looking at, like I just don't like. I see a really good coach.
Yeah, really good coach.
That was a solid coach. Kind of like it kind of reminds me of Jason Garrett in Dallas. Like they had really good seat. Like they were in the playoffs or hunting for it, and they had some good teams. They had some bad years sprinkled in there.
Right.
The only difference was that Carlisle won a title. Now I'm not saying he's better than Jason Garrett. Whatever. I'm not going to try to compare apples to oranges here, but that's who he reminds me of. Like some players didn't get along with him. I don't know. I just don't feel like that 55, 1,500 games, won 836, lost 689, one title, 1 year. I don't know. It doesn't seem like Hall of Fame. Like, but I'm pretty strict when I think of a Hall of Famer. I don't just go like, oh yeah, Hall of Famer, Like, yeah, you're a really good you're a pretty good coach. But right. I don't think you're like Phil Jackson's a Hall of Fame coach. John Wooden's a Hall of Fame coach. I think of those guys. Like when I think like Nick Saban's a Hall of Fame coach, like guys that are just constantly winning and winning and winning, and you want to be them. Like no NBA coach is like, I want to be Rick Carlisle.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
So that doesn't scream Hall of Fame to me. I just thought it was crazy that like everybody's just like, yeah, Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer without a doubt, no question about it. And it's just like, I got some questions. I got questions. Like this dude just got over half of his games. Like,
yeah.
Like,
but I mean, like it's still the NBA. Like going over 500 is still a big deal.
If his winning percentage was over 60, I'm in. I think I might be in. I think you could sway me. But like with that, it's closer to 50% than it is to 60.
Yeah. So here's the question: are you saying no indefinitely? No, that like not in 15 years, not in 20 years.
Oh well, yeah, I'm sure way down the road.
Yeah, but you're saying no first, second, third ballot.
Absolutely not. In my opinion, I don't think so.
Right.
But that's just based off of what I was just going through and seeing stats, numbers wise. Just some of the stuff, I think he mishandled certain players. Like I think he absolutely misused Kristaps Porzingis while his time in Dallas, and I think that's why he's leaving and retiring. I don't think it's because he doesn't want to coach. I think it's because he doesn't know how to handle certain players.
Right.
But we can leave that for another day.
Maybe when we come a Mavs podcast, maybe we'll talk about it more.
My God, I short and sweet. No, because I said so. I don't fucking like. I read the stats you guys put in the notes, and I just went nah, and that was my opinion.
That was my answer. Nah.
Yeah. Nah.
So we're gonna take a sharp right turn. And we are just gonna finish up a couple things before we get into our couple NFL stories. The Lightning are a fucking wagon. They stomped the Islanders last game, 8-0. And this wasn't just like one player going off and scoring like 4 goals. They had 5 players, 5 separate players scoring a goal, with 2 guys. No, I'm sorry. It was 6 players, right? No. Yeah, because 2 and 2 is 4 plus 4. Yeah, so it was 6 players. Doing math here. 6 players scoring, different players scoring, and 2 separate players scoring 2 goals each. So it was an all-around team effort. It was a shellacking.
Yep.
They're gonna play again tomorrow. Wednesday.
Series is over.
The series is over. I 1,000% agree.
Your team of destiny is no more. They've been overtaken by the Atlanta Hawks.
Yes. I don't think that you give up a pedestrian effort like that and somehow come back. You don't lose 8-0 and then come back the next game and win 2-1 or 3-1 or anything like that. So, yeah, it's going to be the Lightning. And
now if they come back and win,
oh my God,
and take the series, then I'm all for like then.
Dude, yeah. If they come back,
to be down 3-2, yeah.
They have to win. They have to win tomorrow on Wednesday and then again on Friday. So before we speak again, this series will be over. But right. If they come back and win both 6 and 7 against Tampa Bay, they're winning the Stanley Cup. I don't want to hear a damn thing about what's going on in the West because there's no way you do that.
Yeah. This is just your weekly of Kenny forgetting to hit his button on his camera.
Oh, I didn't forget. It died. We went so long, okay? So long. There. Okay. So, So the Canadians and the Golden Knights can pretty much do whatever they want out in the West. I think the Golden Knights are going to win that, but the Canadians are up as of right now. 1-0. 1-0. And so. But as far as that series is going, I don't think it matters. I think it's the East finals to lose, whether it's the Islanders or if it is the Tampa Bay. I think either one of those teams are heads and tails better than
the
West. And then the last thing we are going to talk about the court. The court's decision in the NCAA the trial. I don't know. I don't think there's an actual name to this case right now, but yesterday on Monday, the 21st, the courts unanimously decided that the student athletes should be paid for educational benefits and equipment. This is including but not limited to laptops and other school supplies, tutoring, study abroad programs, and internships. My question to you is, because I think that we're already going to start, because there's 5 states already that players starting this year, players can get paid, like just straight up get paid. But nothing federally has been signed or it's decided yet. And the NCAA is pretty much just being the NCAA. I don't know how else to explain that. One, is this a good thing for the athletes? Because obviously we all know it's not a good thing for the colleges because they're having to spend more money. But on top of that, do you think that court cases down the road will use this as a stepping stone to get to the name, image, and likeness payments?
I think it's awesome for the athlete. I think it's terrible for college athletics. And here's why. It's great. Awesome. You're getting paid to, jersey. Like if we're selling, what was Justin Fields' number at Ohio State? 2?
1.
1, whatever. So we're selling Terrell Pryor was number 2. You were selling 1 jerseys. We can put Fields' name on the back, make a killing off of it. And we can pay him for it too. You know what? Good for him. Good for Justin Fields. But it's not, I don't care about the big universities in this aspect. What I'm looking at right now is the mid-major programs. So with this pain of athletes, your mid-major programs, your Toledo's, your BGs, the MAC schools, they're going to be Division II schools here in a little bit because they're not going to be able to afford. I mean, big time Division I programs are cutting stuff already because they're preparing for Stanford stopped wrestling completely. The alumni raised money for them to run the program, and they just said, nope, not doing it. Like, I think big time programs, Power Fives, are going to cut certain sports because they're not going to be able to afford them, because they're going to have to, because all that profit that they use from football sales or basketball or whatever big time sport, the lacrosse guys and girls, field hockey, like that, those sports are going to take a big hurt because programs are going to get cut, or schools are going to BG already cut track and field. Bowling Green, they got rid of track and field. They cut baseball until and a BG alum, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, played in the pros, got a bunch of his buddies around. They did a big fundraiser and got the money, raised a few $1 million to get the program for the next few years. But like this is the way it's going to be now. The Power 5 conferences they rule the world in football. That's going to stay. We're not going to have to worry about the UCFs of the world. The Cinderella stories in football, those aren't going to happen. Basketball, maybe it might be a little bit different because basketball generates a different type of revenue at those smaller schools than football.
Well, I mean, a lot of those smaller schools, they're good at basketball, and that's what they do.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at like Gonzaga and Villanova specifically. Like Gonzaga's Division I in basketball, and Villanova's D1 in basketball, but they're D2 in football, or FCS for football. So, like some of those type of mid majors, like, well, I mean, Big East Villanova, so they're not really a mid major, but like I hope it doesn't affect basketball a whole lot, but you're going to see a lot of sports that people care about that aren't us are going to get cut because the schools aren't going to be able to afford them, because they're going to have to start paying kids a lot. Like I like Ohio State's, the Alabamas, like even Michigan, Notre Dame, schools that have big deals and endorsements and all that type of stuff. Those are going to be fine. Big 12, ACC, it's like some of those schools will be fine just because they're going to generate enough money.
Right.
But your small Power 5 schools, I don't think you're going to see any of them nobody's going to jump ship. I think you're going to have like 5 or 6 conferences in football, and that's going to be it. There's going to be look at what's Army and Navy going to do? The military academies, do they fall in line because they're part of the NCAA? So are they going to have to start paying their kids? So guess what? Your taxes are going to go up because guess who?
Army
and Navy.
I'm not 100%.
Air Force. They're NCAA teams. They play.
No. They are NCAA teams. I'm not saying that. I think that those guys get paid a salary though, because they get paid their military salary while they're in school. They don't.
But still, I mean, but you think about it, what's the one of the most watched college football games of the year after the week before championship games? Army Navy. That's TV money. I'm guessing those players they're gonna have to take profits from that.
Yeah, they have I think their own special deal with NBC for that game. Like, I think that there's something with
the NCAA is part of that. It's not just Army, Navy, and NBC. The NCAA's got their hand in that because they're NCAA schools. So if so facto, they're gonna have to pay those players for all that money from that game. So like, I'm just like, it's awesome, and I get why some guys are doing it. Like, but it's like I'm in the way where you're getting your school paid for. You're getting free food, like you're getting all your meals paid for. You're getting all your school, your dorm room, everything is paid for. Like,
get your own fucking laptop.
No, I'm fine. Like I'm fine with the school supplies and stuff. Like all that stuff makes sense to me. But when it comes to the TV deals and stuff and getting paid, listen, you are a great player and we'll pay you or whatever. Like you want to get paid, I get it. But guess what? At Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, Oklahoma, guess what? We didn't build our name off of you. We built our name off of the guys back in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. We are what we are because of those dudes. We're not because of you. Like we're making all this money because those guys, not because of you. Like that's how I see it. Like you it should be one of those things in college.
Past,
like
the past stuff has something to do with it, but I mean it is the future as well and the present.
Like I don't understand why. Like I mean, okay, you don't want to. So guess what? Then just jersey sales. Like people put the names on them anyway.
Yeah.
Like yeah, who cares? Oh, give like my okay, NCAA video games. Like, oh, they put my number on a video game and they put dreads on me and I have dreads. So it's like, well, no shit. You play for Michigan, so of course we're gonna make you Denard Robinson look like Denard Robinson. Like, oh, but that's me. I should be getting paid for that because they made money off of it. Okay, video games, sure, whatever. But like when it comes to like what the school makes off of like all the like no, like that's not just you. That's
so I'm cool
everybody as a whole from 50 years ago.
I'm cool with them making money off jersey sales and like memorabilia sales and
if it's got their name on it,
individual,
right,
and that kind of stuff. I don't think that they should be getting an actual salary from the school.
They already got it. They already got it.
I think that they should. I think what happens is I think they should be able to monetize their social media. So if somebody wants to do an endorsement, like let's say Gatorade wants to do an endorsement with Justin Fields while he's in school,
no,
that money is not coming from the NCAA. It's not coming from the school. It's coming from.
They can just make money from they should be able to make money off of that type of stuff.
That, monetize their social media. I think they should get money. I don't even care if it's cents on the dollar, whatever it is, off of their jersey
I've
sales.
always thought it was weird that the NCAA won't let them make money.
It keeps the amateurism.
Amateur sports. Yeah.
No. Okay. How about, you know what? I'm not gonna listen to the fucking NCAA until they start paying taxes. Like, go fuck yourself.
Well, man. Yeah, and it's not. It doesn't have to do with it being amateur.
$1 billion fucking organization, no taxes because they're non. They're fucking. Non-profit. They are 100% for profit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 100%.
And like they say amateur. Like college sports isn't amateur anymore.
No.
It's
so like. What I think they should do, it's like you were talking about the like the smaller sports like lacrosse and I don't want to say baseball. I feel
field
like
hockey, equestrian, like all these things, like these things that
like
people
swimming,
don't think about,
like swimming and stuff like that. What I think should happen, what I think is going to happen with them is what happened in Europe. So in Europe, they obviously don't have college sports like we have here. They have club teams,
right?
So. Right now, like
intramurals, like
right now the PLL is getting bigger, and so well, not bigger. I mean, they're starting to actually have an actual pro lacrosse league. So instead of kids coming out of high school, because obviously you're going to still have your high school sports, but kids coming out of high school instead of going to college to play lacrosse, they go to college, but on the side they play for a club team. And lacrosse, and then like the PLL takes those.
Ooh.
You don't like that? Like, what are you gonna do?
No, you okay? Then don't commit to college. Go play in the pros. Why are you playing both?
Well, then go to pros.
Because what if a lot of
guys are gonna come and get? That's a big ass pool of players.
That's why I think the NBA is doing it right with the G League now. Fresh out of high school, you can start going to the G League and get paid right away. That's the way to do it. Develop them, and then cool. Like that's smart on the NBA.
But like the G League, like the NBA in basketball is big enough to where you can do a G League and still fund it. Lacrosse isn't that big.
Yeah.
So I feel like those. Well, yeah. I mean, it is, and I mean, I'm trying to freaking stupid NBC and the fucking stupid NBC Sports. I'm not paying $5 for Peacock. Get the fuck out of here. But. Like I the game that I watched a couple games that I watched, it was awesome. Like it's actually a really fun sport to watch. And I hope
there's hitting. I mean, it's
rough.
intense. It's competitive. But like, yeah, I just don't think, like, I think if kids should be outside of football, kids should be able to go pro right out of high school if they can. And and then guess what? Then, hey, I'm going to college to get better, get an education just in case I can't make it pro. That's the thing. You don't play college sports to make money. You play college sports to, like, you go on to either chance at making it professional or a way to get a free education.
Yeah.
Boom and boom. That's it. That's what this all started as. Oh, well, they're saying, well, tough shit. You know what? They're giving you a road to a free education, and they're giving you a road to a chance of making millions of dollars in a sport you play.
Yeah, so, they're also giving you a road to
suck it the hell up.
Where you never play again.
Here's the one thing for that I say. Okay, so let's say you're just a student. You're on an academic scholarship. Okay. Mm-hmm. Your only job now is to be a student, which means that you can, if you so choose or you need to, you can go get a part-time job or a campus job or some way to make money.
Correct.
If you are, especially at like a major program, if you're an athlete of any sport, and I'm not talking about just football, any sport, it is a 100% job. Like, you don't have time to do your homework and have a part-time or campus job and be a player, be an athlete. So that's why that's the only reason. And once again, I'm cool. Like, put your sign, use your autograph, use your jersey, use your, that's fine. They need to make money because their entire social life, presence, everything, 100% of the time. Yes, 100% of the time they are working towards the team or academics. So that's why they don't have time to make a job. So yes, that is their job. Yes, they should make money. The way they make money is, I think, the only thing that people are arguing about, really.
Yes. Okay, so my argument to that is, okay, they need to make, but what do they need to make money for?
Have you tried to live without money?
Well, I mean, yes, they could technically go to
they got 3 meals a day.
Yeah, they can go to that. But they've got other expenses that they need. They need groceries for their dorm. They need sheets for their dorm.
All right. And let's just play that again. All right, you've got a free education. Your parents can't give you groceries a couple times a week.
You say that, but it sounds there's some that can. No, there's some that can't.
Yeah, there's some that can.
There's some that did that whole thing where they're like,
mine couldn't.
Yeah, exactly. The only way that this person was able to get to college at all was strictly because of athletics.
Yeah.
So
you better not miss. You better not miss any of those 3 meals a day. Then.
I know, but they need more than just 3 meals a day. They need laundry detergent. They need. I mean, they need a lot.
You can't live off no money.
Well, I mean, I was able to in college because people paid for me, but I needed money in college, and I had $5 to my name for an entire month. Hey, I mean, we were poor college kids.
Yeah,
we were able to make do because other people that had money,
right,
gave us it. But
I mean, like,
it's difficult.
It's going to be crazy the amount of money these guys are going to want. Like,
it's gonna be crazy amount of money they're gonna make once their name, image, likeness comes through.
Like, you shouldn't, like, if they're gonna pay him a salary, like, I'm hoping that it's like.
I don't think they should get a salary.
No,
I'm saying
I don't think they should get a salary.
Okay, but it might be but if they can get a salary, it might be cheaper to do it that way.
I also agree.
You know what I mean? Because, like, if you can pay them a couple $100 a week,
that's not gonna happen. No, I think.
No, because
this has been my solution for this entire thing. You make money off your likeness, your merchandise, your signature, and that's it. That is your only way of making money. Oh, I'm sorry, you're the kicker for Ohio State, and you're making pennies compared to the fucking to the quarterback. Sorry.
You know what I would do if I have those big programs now? Oh, guess what? We don't sell jerseys anymore. We just sell stuff that says our team name on it. We don't sell jerseys with numbers on it.
They could have.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So here you go. So here you go. You can't do that because they already have the deals with Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, all those guys. Those teams or those companies already have the rights to sell the jerseys. Once name, image, likeness comes in, they don't have to make that deal with the
I'm talking like when it comes to like the campus gift shops and at the stadium. I'm not talking like at the Nike outlet store or whatever. Like I'm talking like if I go to the stadium, if I went to a Michigan Ohio State game up in Michigan and I walked into the Michigan team shop, there's going to be a bunch of jerseys with numbers on them with no names, but you know what player it is because that's the number they're wearing.
Right.
And it could turn into, when you walk into there, it's just a bunch of team gear with no uniform. There's no jerseys. It's just t-shirts and sweatshirts and whatever.
You know how they get away with that? Jordan would open up a pop-up shop right outside the stadium, and then they would sell the jerseys.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then they would get the name, image, likeness with the players, and then the team would get their money anyways. But I mean, it's
team. Yeah, it's right. The university will get their money, and they don't have to worry about paying anybody.
Yeah, but
so there's going to be ways around this stuff. Like this is way more complicated. We could talk about this for the next 5 episodes.
Forever.
Yeah, because there's so many different ways that universities are going to get around it, and then there's going to be clauses and loopholes and all this crap that's going to come out. Schools are going to get sued even more because for some they didn't pay this person, but then they'll find some loophole to get around it or whatever, and it's just going to be a pain in the ass for the next 20 years.
Yeah, I think they get it pretty much ironed out before then, but I think that there are going to be, like, you're right. I think there's going to be like lawsuits and class action lawsuits that come around that, hey, once name, image, likeness popped up, it was in full effect. I was only getting paid this amount of money when I should have made this amount of money. That kind of stuff.
And then we'll get it all sorted out, and then it's going to turn into other stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so we'll stick with we'll go right into why everyone's here. The NFL. It is, what is it? An hour into the podcast? Sure. Finally in the NFL.
Welcome, Derek.
Everybody, welcome Derek Stock. He's finally joined the podcast.
Christ, man, this was a lot of it was watching paint dry. I mean,
it's probably been the longest hour of Derek's life.
It really was.
Probably. Difficult. Okay, so
you guys were talking at me, not to me.
Oh yeah, sure. No, you could have just went to sleep. It'd have been fine.
I did.
So we're gonna do the NFC North first because the Bears are actually doing something kind of cool. And I gotta make Derek talk nice about the Bears.
Ooh, we'll see.
Yeah,
you really think so? You really think so? I'm about this life. So the Bears are looking into buying Arlington International Racecourse. Okay. It is a racetrack outside of Chicago.
Quite a ways out of Chicago.
It's like 30 minutes outside of Chicago. Yeah. Let's calm down. Okay. The fucking Jets play, or the Giants play in the Meadowlands, and that's like an hour into Jersey.
Look, by the way, there is no such thing as the New York Jets or the New York Giants.
Yeah, they're both Jersey.
I got into an argument one time with a guy on Twitter, and he's like, I've lived in New York. I go, well, then you'll know that they're not in New York. So
yeah, you'll know that
I mean, dude, this guy got so fucking mad at me, and it was awesome. But good, continue.
You had to cross the bridge to go to any of their games. So what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
So they're looking into now. I'm going to preface this by saying that they are in negotiations with the city of Chicago right now to get renovations for Soldier Field, because
which is a shit field.
I didn't know this. This is actually kind of crazy to me. The Bears do not own their stadium. The city of Chicago owns it.
Yeah.
And it's part of their parks division. So that is believed that they're using this as a negotiation tactic.
Sure.
But they're looking into buying the race course to build a new stadium. Are we pumped about it? Because I am pumped about it.
It's a stadium.
Why would you be pumped about? Like, I don't understand why you're excited.
I'm excited about it because I don't like the old stadiums. After seeing SoFi, after seeing Minneapolis, Jerry's World, Vegas' stadium,
Jesus Christ, with the white trash in this fucking neighborhood. It's not July 4th and they're lighting off fireworks. Fucking assholes. Guys.
That is Frontline right there. Anyways, so with all these new stadiums, even First Energy is, I guess, an older stadium. Like, it's just
so.
I like
You're
the new
sounding like such a millennial right now.
I guess
That's
in
exactly what I am.
I guess in like stadium terms, Ford Field is kind of older a little bit,
but it's a nicer stadium. It's just like
it's a fantastic stadium. I think places are shit shows and they need to fucking update their stadium.
Like Lambeau.
I'm really tired of people taking pride
update.
in the fact that they have a bullshit fucking stadium. Like, oh yeah, this baby's been around since the 60s. Yeah, we could fucking tell, man. I got plaster in my fucking nachos because this place is falling apart. Yeah,
I have a 6-inch fucking splinter in my ass from this fucking bleacher seat.
People take pride in that, and you're just like, well, why don't you take pride in your fucking stadium a little bit more and update it,
like
make it look nice?
Like who?
I mean, I've went to Heinz Field and it was garbage in comparison to the stadiums I've been in. So
like what? Like where?
I just told you.
Ford Field.
I went to.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Ford Field. First Energy I liked better than Heinz Field.
I've never been to First Energy, but
it's okay.
Heinz Field isn't that bad.
Listen, it's not Lambeau and it's not Soldier Field. I'll give you that. I've never been there before, but I've been to Heinz Field
3 times, and I didn't think it was nothing that would make me think this is an old stadium. This stadium needs updated.
It doesn't necessarily need updated, but
it's nothing special.
Lambeau and Soldier Field definitely need updated. And that's just for fan experience.
Heinz Field's just plain. There's not a whole lot to it.
Yeah.
Like it was. I mean, it's not state of the art or it's a football stadium.
Yes, I think that might be it. They do have a really cool like inside. They have a cool like arcade like a Hall of Fame, I guess you can say.
It's right outside the Champions Club.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ring of Honor or whatever.
Yeah, and that is really cool to go through. A lot of history there. Mm-hmm. That's cool. But that section looks great.
Yeah,
the rest of it,
it's just plain.
It's nothing. It looks like a Division I high school.
Yeah.
Could have maybe put that together.
Now, when we talk about old stadium seat, like this is where I like we talked about with I kind of like the classics. Like there's also a nostalgia. Like I want to go to Fenway. Fenway's 100 years old. I want to go to Fenway because I want to walk.
Is different.
Nah,
but is there?
I've been to Wrigley. But
are there seats shitty?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
Fenway seats are not shitty.
Like to go to that stadium and for it to be 100 years old, fucking awesome. You got to update the seating.
No, yeah, they
everything
do that
else
stuff.
can look beautiful. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Soldier Field is iconic. Lambeau is iconic, but I don't want to sit in good seats. I don't want to pay for good seats or good tickets
to sit in a high school style bench. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So here's my thing with Soldier Field. Like it is the smallest stadium in the NFL.
Okay.
One of they've got a good market teams like outside
tiny area.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's inside the city.
They've got a good fan base.
Yeah.
They could definitely fill them.
They got it. If the city's smart, they're doing it because they're going to generate so much more revenue in the city than they are outside of it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, and that's why I think that's why they are looking into buying the racetrack is because they know that they're missing out on so much money from the revenue. It's not just the revenue from the football games. That stadium would make the Bears money year round. Because if they built a new stadium outside of Chicago, they could build up that whole area like on the land that they own, put bars, put restaurants, put shops, put whatever they want around that, and like make it like a Wrigleyville, or Fenway Park has all that area around it.
Just like they did in in Philly. What they did with Philly, they put all 4 major sports teams in the city in one spot, and then they built around
it. And like how the Cleveland Browns are doing with First Energy, they're rebuilding the whole coastline right there making it all nice and like adding new stuff and everything like that. But that generates revenue. Not to mention that if the Chicago Bears built a brand new stadium and made it an indoor stadium, there's a big chance that they could pull the.
I'm not sure they do that,
but there's a big chance that they could pull the Big Ten championship game from Lucas Oil.
Oh, big time! Yeah,
that's lot of fucking money.
Big Ten's out of Chicago.
Is out of Chicago.
That's why the United Center has been pulling for getting basketball out of.
They would have to build
every other year.
Yeah.
They would have to build a massive because Lucas Oil is fucking beautiful.
It's my favorite stadium I've ever been to.
It is so fucking nice.
I love it.
Okay. All right. So make me say something nice about the Bears. I won't. I'm with Mayor. I'm with Mayor Lightfoot. Focus on putting a winning team on the goddamn field. Focus on beating the Packers one of the goddamn years. Whether that
was a true quote or not, I don't care. Whoever wrote it,
dude, that's a tough lady. If she said that is a tough fucking lady. Like, but then again, I think Bears Stadium is one of the stadiums that like boo their own.
Philly for
team.
Sure.
Philly does,
for
I know.
Sure.
But I think Bears are one of the teams that boo their own team.
Yeah, you could get any fan base to be pissed off enough to boo their own team.
But it happens like regularly. Like that's what I'm saying.
It is the Bears, you know what I mean?
But what I'm saying is like they're a tough fan base, and that mayor fucking ripped them, and that was awesome. Because fuck you bottom feeders.
I think they should. Even if they didn't build the stadium right away, buy the fucking racetrack.
I would agree. Get it out of Chicago because I freaking absolutely hate driving in there. So if I get a chance to go up to a Bears game in Chicago, I would like to not drive in Chicago.
That'd be nice. All right.
Yeah, I agree.
Moving on.
Well, let's do.
Kenny, why don't you clap real quick because I want to do a transition that you're not gonna like.
All right, I'm gonna.
Let's talk about it.
We need to talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
We do.
All righty. So, wait, hold on. Clapping out. Say his name for me one more time.
Nassib.
Okay. So Carl Nassib came out yesterday. Stop it.
Yesterday.
Yeah, Monday. Came out on Monday the 21st as the first openly gay active player.
Yes.
In the NFL. I think this is I think it's big. Honestly. I think it's a huge deal. It's a step in the right direction.
If it pushes other potentially gay and or bisexual, maybe whatever, players to like kind of just be like, hey guys, been hiding this. I'm comfortable enough to say it. That's great. I think it's kind of weird that it is necessarily a storyline. Mainly because
so it's Pride Month. Okay.
Yeah, and which is great marketing, great time to do so, to come out and do that. And it also is like his jersey sales. And I'm not saying it was like a ploy to do that, but maybe potentially we're getting some people who from the gay community that wasn't interested in football buying merchandise now, or at least a little bit interested in the Raiders and that player. Yeah.
I mean, maybe not even so much as for the Raiders. I think it is more for him. Like it's
right, but they're gonna watch. They
will. I think it's possible that they pay attention more.
So I don't know, man.
It's a headline, and so what I'm thinking of it here is I actually, Derek would know, I sent this message when it all broke or whatever. My first thought was, well, like, cool, like, who cares? Like, you're gay, like people, like, I want to think that it's not a problem, and I wanted to think that it's not a big deal because I don't think it's a big deal.
Sure.
Because me personally, I don't care if you like men, women, whatever sex, gender, or I don't even know all the classifications, so I don't want to, make anybody mad by saying them wrong.
By the way, people, we're not that smart. We get it. We're bordering on lines that we shouldn't be crossing or talking about.
And, I mean, Derek can speak. I mean, Derek has gay aunts and uncles. I have gay cousins. That doesn't I still, love them no matter what. Like, that doesn't affect me, doesn't bother me at all. And with any other person, no matter your sexuality, your or your race, color, your skin, anything like that, I treat you as a human being. I don't care.
I'm gonna show you all the same.
So, like, to me personally, it's not a headline because to me it shouldn't be a headline.
It shouldn't. You're absolutely right. It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be a big deal.
But then I thought about it, and into the world that we live in today and where we come from, like, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just like when it comes down to, like, black coaches and all that stuff. Like, one of these days, like, we're gonna, like, a black coach is gonna get hired, and we're gonna go, cool, like
what was his record?
We're gonna be treating him just like we do everybody else. Like, that's the thing, like, that sucks about it, is that it shouldn't be a headline, but it should be a headline.
There's got to be more people that are currently gay
or who were
gay.
I hope so,
and hit
man.
it. What it was Michael Sam, right?
Yeah,
okay,
played for Missouri.
When he came out and went into the draft and everything, they wanted to make it a huge deal, right? And back then it was more taboo than it is now. But I was just like,
he did that. He did say taboo with quotations for our audio.
Oh yeah, for the audio listeners.
Yeah. So don't get mad at him thinking that he thinks that that's taboo. That was with quotations.
Yeah, but for me, it was like, I don't care whether he is or not.
Yeah.
Could he help at that point, because he was being talked about to the Lions? Could he help the Lions?
Right.
That's literally all I cared about.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
You didn't care if he was black, white, Asian,
people have supported people have supported murderers in the NFL.
Yes.
If you can support a murderer in the NFL, you can support a gay guy that's just living his goddamn life.
Yeah.
Preach.
literally living his damn life. Like, it's
who's not affecting your day-to-day life.
Like, I'm waiting for one person to be like, fuck Carl Nassib, but Ray Lewis is a Hall of Famer. You're like, priorities, sir. Priorities. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. Like, it's that weird. We're in that weird stage right now where it shouldn't be a headline, but it is a headline.
Mm-hmm. I think if it wasn't in Pride Month, it wouldn't be getting as much attention.
I disagree.
I think I disagree as well, because he's an active player, and in the first one,
I wasn't shitting on it. I was just saying, like, I think anything Pride related is kind of getting a little bit blown up right now, and whatever. Okay.
Which is just, I mean, just like with Black History Month. I mean, if something like something like this happened in February, I mean, I'm sure it would be more than it would in March or in April. Or
what if someone was what if during Black History Month someone like came out as black and you're just like, no shit. Like that would have been a good way for like Logic to come out.
Yeah, right.
I just
yeah, right. What I hope and pray out of this whole thing is that if there are other guys closeted in the NFL, I hope it gives them the strength to come out. Like, you shouldn't feel uncomfortable in your own skin as who you are.
Wait, is Richie Incognito on that team still?
No, he was playing for the Dolphins last I heard, but I think he's done.
I don't think he's in the NFL anymore.
I think he's done now, yeah.
Okay, good. Phew, because otherwise he'd have a rough time. That Carl Nassib would have a rough time.
Because Cognito's an ass.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he
for
is.
sure. All right, let's move on. What the fuck is tight end university?
Yeah, we're talking about here.
You have no idea? Okay, so
is this the Greg Olsen shit?
Yeah, Greg Olsen. Well, prayers for his son.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell, baby. Yes, sir.
For sure.
So Greg Olsen, after coming out saying that he was retiring, George Kittle messages him, says, congratulations on the career, retirement, all that stuff. They exchange messages back and forth for a couple of days. George is like, hey, if you just want to stay in shape, you can always come out to Nashville with me. I got, facilities that I have access to, we can, do whatever you want. Right. They start talking, and George invites a couple other guys out, and it becomes kind of like a thing. So they're talking, him and Greg are still talking with each other, and they decide to try and make it an actual, almost like a summit for the tight ends of the NFL. It's going to be a 3-day thing this week, from Wednesday to Friday. They are going over literally everything it is to be a tight end in the NFL. There's about 50 tight ends that play in the NFL right now, that are all going out. They've got sponsorship deals with like Body Armor and a couple other guys to help pay for everything. The guys the tight ends that are going there aren't paying for anything. They're not paying for their flights. They're not paying for their hotels. They're not paying for their food. They're not paying for anything. Everything is paid for by the sponsors that are helping with this.
Okay.
But they are going there. They're literally going there to be trained by the top tight ends in the league, to all get better. I think as of right now, George Kittle, Travis Kelce,
sure,
and one other, I can't remember who it is, but they're the only players in over $10 million a year, tight ends. And their goal is kind of to help bump those numbers up.
Well, I saw his I saw his quote saying that tight ends have to do everything that a left tackle does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also has to run routes against the same people that are getting, the
wide receivers do.
Yeah, that the wide receivers do, that are also getting paid more than them. And
$15 million each.
He's not wrong. Okay.
He's not, and they expect to pay half. So
speaking of tight ends, I kind of have something that I want to get off my chest. TJ Hawkinson, please cut your fucking hair. You look absolutely ridiculous. I love you to death, but fuck, man. It's Jesus.
So yeah, it's a big deal. So it's not so publicized as the tight end U has been, but a lot of tackles and a lot of linemen do this. They all get together over the off season, and they all train, and they all go over drills, and they're doing film study, all this stuff. I mean, it's all blocked out for them to do everything.
Sure.
And other skill positions do this, and this is going to be the first time that the tight ends do it. They're kind of making it a big deal, and I really like it.
Good. That's fun.
We need more. We need more tight ends in the league.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and so that was one thing that Greg Olsen was talking about, was that you get all these basketball players that come in that didn't make it in the NBA, or that didn't make it in college, whatever, and the position that they go to is tight end, because everyone thinks that it's just the easiest, and he's like Derek said, it's you have to block like a lineman, you have to run a route like a wide receiver. It's not just something easy you could just drop yourself into.
Right.
So the other headline from this was that since there was limited spots for it, Tim Tebow is not invited this year.
No, it's not
He shouldn't be.
He shouldn't be. 100% he shouldn't be.
That's not a headline. You just made it a headline. Stop it. All right.
Do you want to? Okay, so I think we all think it's cool. I think it's awesome. What was your tight end's name? What was your tight end's name again, Derek?
TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, TJ Hawkinson, who did not play with Calvin Johnson, correct? Or did?
Correct. Did not.
So
he was a rookie last year.
Bro, I don't fucking know. I don't fucking
know. Second year, whatever. Still, Calvin Johnson retired like 5 years ago, dude.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame. He has
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't know how old this guy is. I don't know how long he's been in the league. He's a Lions player. Anyways, so
he just played for Iowa like 2 years.
Bro, hush your mouth.
Oh my god.
After I beat the shit out of Iowa every year, I don't pay attention to their players' names.
Every year? You beat the shit out of them every year?
Okay, one time. They beat us one time.
That's all it takes.
Yep. No, it's not.
Yep. Nobody forgets.
I will pull up a stat.
I don't fucking care. You
can pull up a stat. All right. Nobody forget. You don't let Michigan forget about Appalachian State.
Right. All right, let's go.
That was a fucking Division II school.
All right. Okay, way off topic here. Let's talk Calvin.
Calvin Johnson wanted to get traded before he retired 5 years ago, and
came out on a podcast he was on that he legitimately asked for a trade, and at the time, the wonderful people that were at the Lions and in charge of the Lions gave him the big bird, the big middle finger, and said no. And then people were like, and then Calvin Johnson was like, I'm so happy for Stafford. I'm so happy that, the Lions did what they did for him. And I think that actually helped the amending relationship that the Lions are working on for Calvin Johnson. I know that this new management, the new goal has been to bring Calvin back into it. And he said on the interview, I'm not friends with them still. I'm still not friends with the Detroit Lions, but I will be there for all the Detroit Lions players.
Does he owe them money still?
Vice versa. He paid them.
Did he?
They made him pay him back. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if he still owed them that money or not.
No, he paid us $2 million, I think it was, or some shit like that. So $2 million he gave him back, but
I thought it was like 25. But yeah, sure.
No. It was like $2 million. I think it was a signing bonus. I can't remember.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they're working on building everything, but it's just there's so many things. The Detroit Lions have the reputation. They've done it before. Great fucking, arguably one of the best players they've ever played at that position. Wide receiver. We also did it with running back.
Yeah.
Barry Sanders.
Yep.
He asked for a fucking trade. We said, here's the bird. And they retired early. Because could you imagine if Calvin Johnson did like a Julio? You know what I mean? Like
went to Green Bay or not Green Bay, but like New England, Pittsburgh.
I know
some other team.
I couldn't even imagine if I got to watch Calvin Johnson play for 5 more years. Couldn't even imagine.
Yeah,
it would have been. Heartbreaking?
Yeah. Can we?
It'd have been heartbreaking.
Can we first of all say, is anybody surprised that he asked for a trade?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely not.
All right, so we're not surprised that he asked for a trade. What I'm surprised about is the Lions just saying "fuck you" to him.
I'm not. That doesn't surprise me at all. Just because of the history, like Derek said, Barry Sanders.
Just pettiness.
They knew. Yeah. Well, they don't want anybody else to have him.
So this new regime, this new administration, they're all about, like, we hired Chris Spielman, and they're like, well, what's Chris Spielman doing? They're like, you just player relations. What are you talking about? So Chris Spielman's entire job is to kind of bridge that gap between upper management and the players. Mm-hmm. He is supposed to speak to upper management on behalf of the players. And I think he did a good job. And I also think that Brad Holmes didn't necessarily need that talk to when it came to Stafford, when he asked for that trade. I think Brad Holmes gave it to him because that's just the way he's going to run his team. This whole thing is about, let's make our players happy. And in fact, they just hired a lot of people. A couple of them were for the scouting department, which Brad Holmes, he's getting his guys in there that he wants and everything.
Right.
But they hired 3 different people, all for player management, player relations, One of them is a psychiatrist. She is a doctor for psychiatric, like just talking to them about that, like pretty much a counselor to deal with that shit. And they hired two other people to help with the mental health of their players. They just today they did that. So the Lions are doing a lot in the sense of we're going to put our players first. We're going to make sure that they're taken care of as best as possible. Right. They did right by Stafford. I fucking hated it, but they did right by Stafford. And they did it to the point where they didn't hurt the Lions. They actually helped them in the long run, even though they may have hurt them,
I agree.
In the short term, but in the long term, they helped the Lions. Everything they've done so far has been great. I know I drink the Kool-Aid every time we have a new person in office, but so before I had to look for reasons to be excited. Now I've got reasons to be excited because I think the things they're doing, I think other teams are actually going to start modeling off the Lions, especially if we start having success.
It's very possible.
Yeah, maybe not who they hire. Maybe they're not, the next wave is going to be X players as head coaches. Maybe not that. But I'm talking about how they treat the players.
Right.
How we do business. I think if we continue to do what we are doing, people might start making that the norm. And that would be great because players are the reason you make money.
Right.
Straight up. So continue to treat them well. And Calvin, I'm torn. Did I want to ever see you play for someone else? No. But also I didn't want you to retire earlier.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
That one kind of didn't hurt because like when he said it, it was kind of like of course type of moment, but yeah. All right, what do we got? What's the last? Oh shit. You're about to make me look stupid. All right, let's do this thing.
Well, yeah. So this is if you get this, I'll. No, never mind. I was gonna say something, but I won't.
Yeah.
All right,
I want to make a joke too, but I'll.
This is just Lions trivia.
Just in case I get it right, just to know that I'm not using my phone.
There you go. Okay, so this is just a simple question.
Turned on.
Yep. All right. What were the Lions originally called?
Spartans.
Oh man, good job. I honestly had no idea you guys would get that.
Yeah.
So it was back.
Do you know where? 34 was when the Lions came over, right? When they became the Lions.
Well, they were offered a franchise in July of 1930.
Yeah.
30. Do you know where they didn't they play at Detroit? Didn't they play the first game at like Detroit University or something crazy like that? I think.
Well, they also I don't believe they were always Detroit either. I think they had a different city name as well.
They were in Portsmouth.
Yeah, Portsmouth. Yeah. Yep. And then for the longest time, they could have called them the Pontiac. The Pontiac Lions, but
yeah.
Right. Yeah, they played their first game. Yeah, University of Detroit was where they played their games at their first season.
Right.
Yep. I've seen a like a timeline of our mascot or so I've seen that before, and that's how I knew that one.
My thought for this, I'm actually kind of pumped that you guys got this. But my thought for this is that I'm gonna go back and forth between Steelers and Lions, and I'm gonna try and make them harder and harder.
Sure.
Every week.
Sure. I'm Nick.
I think I'm just gonna have to start
at
hard. I think I'm gonna have to start at hard with you.
Why?
That's cool.
Can I do that?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Come on, you know me. I know a lot of useless, random things.
Well, your second team is the Lions, I believe. So
yeah, I've always said that if the Steelers were no more, they're my NFC team, Detroit, always.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean that's all I got. I really thought that.
And
I really
so pumped.
I was too. I didn't think you guys would get that.
I like that Derek gave me was gonna give me like a minute to think, and then I just blurted it out, and Derek was just you could see it in his face, just like, oh, okay, Nick.
Okay.
Like you knew that pretty quick.
All right. Well, that is this episode of the KD Sports Talk. I'm hoping that within the next couple of weeks we can get our shit together and actually get some things changed on our end to update the podcast a little bit. But like always, make sure you like, subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or anywhere that you watch your or listen to your podcasts. And always make sure that leave some comments. What did we talk about today?
A lot of stuff.
You know what? Fuck it. Do you think that the Chicago Bears should buy and build a brand new stadium? Yes or no? That's all I need. Just in the comments, wherever. That's it. And so we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Suns and 4.
Suns and 4.